All right, hey guys, it's Heather here with Underwater Panther, and I'm really trying to hammer out all of my series to get a head start. I've I've got probably 10 series going on right now, and I just want to hammer out the foundation of these series in 2025 to get a feeling of having a head start on 2026 work. My channel is certainly evolving very quickly. I'm really getting into a groove. And so I have 10 series going on right now. I will be rotating through all of these series in 2026. So I'm really laying down the foundations. I want to write more books and create actual advanced courses. And so I'm going to run through the list of the series I'm going through real quick and then introduce this new series. So I am rotating between my indigenous Native American teachings, Scorpio or the ENFP archetype, ego. I just launched a 500-page book on that. Series 3, the Aquarian Age book. I have just recently launched that book. It's 400 pages. All of my books are currently on sale for 33% off with code Phoenix33, so check that out in the description below. I do have 6 ego books done, and I am going to try to get at least 3 more done next year, and eventually I will have all 12 astro-psychological personality types done. So I have a ton of goals, and I'm really just trying to hit the ground running right now. So the 4th series is about geopolitics and AI. 5th is the Polarity series. I just uploaded, I don't know, 7 or 8 videos on that. So the Polarity series deals with the individual and the collective, masculine and feminine integration in the Aquarian age. So yeah, I am upgrading my knowledge on many topics, and it all ties in together. But yeah, it's I'm like so ecstatic. So the polarity, masculine and feminine, on an individual and collective level, and then I also get into the dynamics inside personalities, but that series is just for the mass scale. It's not really about the personalities trying to integrate their own masculine and feminine based on their personality. It's more of a collective type of thing going on. All right, so the 6th series is about planets and cycles and personal development throughout a human being's lifetime. And that is the series I will be working on today. We're talking about the planets. And then the 7th series is the cognitive functions, cognitive roles, and personal development throughout your life. 8th is all about temperaments, the 4 elements, and the social interaction styles, the 3 axis in that. And then the dark feminine and toxic masculinity and femininity. So I do have 10 series going on right now. This specific one is the Planet series updated for 2026. So I have written many books, and um I wouldn't say necessarily basic level, but I have entirely evolved my knowledge on a lot of what I have been studying the last 20 years of my life, and I am really weaving everything in together and want to start all over, kind of ground up, and incorporate everything I have learned thus far. So some of my information is not wrong. I just feel like it's outdated because it isn't I've combined many different systems together since I have launched my older videos, and so I just want to keep going here with this. You know, we certainly evolve, and I am just wanting to update many different things, especially the cognitive functions. And I haven't really done a series about the planets, and so yeah, it's very important. It's very foundational to what I do, astro-psychology. So I will be talking about the planet, psyche, polarity, life initiation, and collective age within the planets. So I'm going to break down the Sun, Mercury, Earth, Mars, Moon, Venus, Saturn, Jupiter, Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto. And within each of those planets, I will be talking about what the planet governs in the psyche, how the planet behaves in a healthy versus wounded form, how the planet shapes masculine and feminine expression, how the planet initiates personal growth cycles, how the planet manifests in the Aquarian age that we are now in, how the planet ties into the ages, and then how the planet acts in the astro-psychological model. So this is an introduction video, and I'm going to try to hammer out as many as I can this evening. So this is an introduction to the planets as archetypes, the original language of the unconscious. So I'm going to be talking about Jung, archetypes, and mythology. So before psychology had textbooks, it had mythology. Before therapy had diagnosis, it had gods. Before Jung mapped the unconscious, the ancients mapped the sky. In this series, I'm going to show you something most astrologers never explain. I had to text my daughter earlier. I have made a groundbreaking discovery, and there are very few people that combine astrology, psychology, hermeticism, Native American teachings, human design, Eastern and Western philosophies, syncretism through origins of language. There's not very many people that combine everything that I do together. And I literally made a huge discovery. I'm not going to get to it until probably the third or fourth video in this series. And so I'm going to be breaking it down, and I am so freaking excited. I had to text my daughter earlier. I was like, oh my gosh, I just made a huge discovery, and there's just no one that understands this. So I'm stoked. I am very stoked. All right, so in this series, I'm going to show you something most astrologers never explain. The planets are not objects, they are archetypes, they are living patterns in the psyche. They are the architecture of your unconscious. Carl Jung famously said, astrology represents the summation of all the psychological knowledge of antiquity. He understood what modern people forget. The psyche speaks in symbols, the unconscious speaks in myth, and the planets are the symbols your soul chose before you were born. So, Carl Jung, I certainly admire him greatly. There were others before him that spoke the language, and I have recently purchased one of 2,100 books of, Bruno. His last name is Bruno. Giardo, I can't remember his first name. Giorgiano? Something like that. Giorgiano Bruno. I have one of 2,100 books that has recently been re-released in color, and that's the only book in this world that has his like work in color. I'm so excited. But yeah, Carl Jung, I'm a huge fan, as well as many others. Anyway, the planets equals archetypes of the inner self. Every planet is a doorway into your unconscious. The sun represents the hero and the self. The moon represents the child and your inner mother. Mercury is the magician, the messenger, Venus, the lover, the muse, Mars, the warrior, the protector, Jupiter, the sage and mentor, Saturn, the father, judge, and architect, Uranus, the rebel, the awakener, Neptune, the mystic and the dreamer, Pluto, the shadow and the underworld guide. Earth is the embodied soul, the incarnational path. So I'm going to be breaking down the planets unlike you have ever heard before. All right, so when you read your chart, you're not reading traits. You're reading your inner pantheon, the cast of characters, running your psyche, shaping your desires, sabotaging your patterns, and guiding your evolution. Astrology is not superstition. It's archetypal psychology in symbolic form. So I've been doing this for a very long time. Well, not really in the bigger sense, but it's been many, many, many years. And I studied this stuff a year and a half or two before I even started talking to people about it. And then I started looking into people's birth charts, family, friends, coworkers, and did that for a couple of years. And then I still didn't teach about it yet. And then I started writing books. And now I'm finally at this stage of you either understand, you're in it, or you're not. And I seriously could care less. But it's been a wild evolution for myself. All right, so why the modern world feels lost and why this series matters now. Modern people are suffering not because they lack information, but because they lack myth, meaning, and initiation. We've been severed from our inner world, the symbols that give life structure, the rites of passage that turn chaos into purpose, the archetypes that help us understand who we are. So we project our unconscious onto partners, politics, relationships, addictions, obsessions, and self-sabotage. What Jung taught and what ancient astrologers always knew is that when you don't make the unconscious conscious, it becomes your fate. That's why knowing your planetary archetypes is liberating. It brings your fate into awareness and turns it into choice. Every planet is a living myth you're enacting. In mythology, Mars is not just war, he is boundary, courage, and initiation. Venus is not just love, she is magnetism, value, and embodiment. Saturn is not just punishment, he is the architect of destiny. Pluto is not just death, he is the gatekeeper of transformation. Neptune is not delusional, he is the dissolver of ego and the reliever of soul. Uranus is not chaos, he is liberation and awakening. These archetypes exist in every human psyche. Your birth chart simply tells you how they arrange themselves in your personal mythology. You are living a hero's journey, but astrology reveals which archetypes you're wrestling, which ones you're avoiding, and which ones you're designed to integrate. This series bridges the three great systems: mythology, the gods as psychological forces; Jungian depth psychology, the archetypes of the unconscious; and astrology, the cosmic cycles shaping identity and evolution. When you put them together, something powerful happens. You stop asking, why am I like this? And you start asking, what archetype in me is speaking? What myth am I unconsciously living out? What planet is initiating me right now? This is where transformation begins. So I'm going to break down each of these planets very briefly because this is a introduction video, and then I will continue on with the more in-depth foundational videos in this series. So, the sun represents ego, identity, direction, soul, light. Psychology, core identity, life, purpose, and self expression. Polarity, masculine, yang, structure, direction, and clarity. Wounded sun, narcissistic ego, identity confusion, external validation chasing. Developmental cycle, every solar return equals identity upgrade. Age influence, the sun dissolves illusions during the Aquarian transparency. Your teaching angle, or its teaching angle. So your sun sign is not your personality. It is the assignment your soul choose to master. So Mercury is the mind, cognition, communication, and perception. Psychologically, thinking patterns, learning style, and mental processing. Polarity, androgynous, switches masculine and feminine depending on sign. Wounded Mercury, overthinking, miscommunication, cognitive distortion. And Mercury actually has a lot to do with your nervous system. So it's so exciting. I'm going to break that down in the Mercury video. Mind blowing. Age influence. Oh, whoops. Developmental cycles. Developmental cycles are so important within each planet. Mercury retrogrades is rewiring mental filters. Age influence. Mercury becomes extremely important in the age of AI, data, and digital identity. And honestly, I have realized that your Mercury really doesn't exactly. I am tying in Mercury with the sun sign for your ego. I do break down the four sides of the mind psychologically, according to C.S. Joseph's theories, and astrologically. And so I am going to break down how I view this astrologically with the ego, subconscious, unconscious, and superego. But that is not going to be until later because I do have to get the foundational videos done. But I do combine Mercury into the ego, and because obviously it's your thinking and communication and your perception, your mind. But I've noticed that it doesn't really start kicking in until you're like 25 or so. It's so freaking fascinating looking at the planets through your life cycle and ages. I am so stoked about this. All right, so where was I? Earth. So no one in astrology talks about the Earth. And this is my huge breakthrough. It's such a huge breakthrough. Astrologers do not talk about the Earth as an archetype. Human design talks about Earth as an archetype. And yeah, so I'm not going to break I want to like dive in so deep. Okay, so but that's going to be its own video. So this is just like the briefing. So Earth represents embodiment, safety, worthiness, and actualization. Psychologically, it is grounding, physical reality, trauma, imprinting, and life foundation. Polarity is feminine, yin, receptivity, nourishment, and security. Wounded earth is survival mode, self-neglect, and scarcity mindset. Cycles, earth transits equals somatic upgrades. I'm just giggling because I have been watching Stefan. I'm so bad with names. Stefan Burns. Stefan Burns. I think I remembered a name finally. He has an amazing channel here on YouTube. He is like I go out there, like obviously like my mind goes out further than most, but his mind is even further than what I personally go like towards and learning. And he is an astrophysicist. I believe that's what he is. And He's actually very highly educated, very well spoken, and his channel is all about updating everyone on the Earth's magnetosphere, like he talks about auroras and sun flares and like three-eye atlas. He's all about the comets and what's going on outside of our solar, or in our solar system, outside of our atmosphere. And so he is so in tune with the actual Earth, like Mother Earth. Like, he looks at it like the indigenous people look at it. Mother Earth. We are so freaking disconnected from the Earth, the feminine, within ourselves and collectively. And I'm so excited to be doing a big series including the Earth and going deep into what the Earth represents in this way. It is so freaking important. Very important. All right. So, cycles. Okay, I already said that. Age influence. Earth is becoming sacred again, returning to natural law. Hermeticism, natural laws. I'm going to start my own series on Hermeticism and natural laws. We have fallen away from wisdom. We have fallen away from wisdom, and we weren't taught true wisdom. So that is like why I am here doing this, and I'm really going to push myself hard. All right, so Earth is where your soul becomes real. Mars represents drive, desire, anger, and boundaries. Psychologically, represents action, pursuit, sexuality, instinct, and assertion. Polarity, masculine, yang, force, motion, and protection. Wounded Mars, anger issues, avoidance, passivity, and aggression. Excuse me. Cycles Mars return age 2, 32, and 62, initiates major growth. Age influence Mars is being restructured by Pluto and Aquarius. Collectively, right now, we have Pluto in Aquarius. It is the masculine reboot era. Masculine systems are collapsing, femininity has inflated. And so, on a collective level, we are all going through a huge masculine reboot. And then Mars shows what activates your soul and what threatens it. The moon represents your emotions, needs, attachment, and inner child. Psychologically, emotional regulation, safety, needs, memory, and subconscious. Polarity, feminine yin, intuition, nurturing, and feeling. Wounded moon, avoidance, insecure attachment, and emotional dysregulation. Cycles, lunar cycles reset emotional identity every 28 days. And my Native American blood, I haven't really followed the calendar that we have been given. I follow moon cycles, obviously. The seasons, I just don't want to. Okay, let's not get too derailed here, but the moon is so important. All of these are so important, and I'm so happy to be teaching from this lens. I don't think you're going to really find this anywhere else. All right, so Venus represents love. Did I finish the moon? Oh, age influence. The moon is becoming the new intelligence. Emotional mastery equals survival. The moon reveals the need beneath the need. Venus represents love, magnetism, relating, and value. Psychologically, attraction, pleasure, creativity, relational intelligence. Polarity, feminine, receptivity, magnetism, and harmonizing. Wounded Venus, codependency, self-abandonment, love, addiction. Cycles, Venus retrogrades equals relationship, karma, clearing. Age influence, we're in a Venus-led age. Emotional intelligence becomes currency. Venus teaches the art of receiving. Then we have Saturn. I have a stellium in Capricorn. My moon is in the 10th house of Capricorn. My Mercury is Aquarian, 11th house. So I am an extremely Saturn. I'm a very Saturn person, but my Saturn is actually in Pisces, I believe. No, my Saturn's in Capricorn. I lied. Yeah, my Saturn is actually in Capricorn. I'm a Pisces sun. I'm so excited for this series. I am freaking so excited. All right, so stay on track. Sorry, my energy, I'm just like stoked. All right, Saturn, discipline, karma, boundaries, and maturity. Psychologically, it represents responsibility, adulthood, limits, and contracts. Polarity, masculine, order, structure, and containment. Wounded, Saturn, shame, fear, rigidity, and self criticism. Perfectionism is a huge thing for Saturn. And self criticism, criticizing yourself to death. Cycles, Saturn return, 29 or 30 years old, 58 to 60 years old. Soul blueprint activation. Saturn return is a huge milestone psychologically. That happens when you're around 30 years old, 29, 30, 31, depending. Saturn return is a huge psychological milestone. I really don't consider humans adults until they hit their Saturn return. Like, that's how serious I am about this. All right, so Saturn isn't punishment, it is initiation. Jupiter represents expansion, faith, abundance, and meaning. I'm actually a Jupiterian. I was born on, I think it's Thursday. Is it Thursday? Friday. Friday. I was born on a Friday. It's a Jupiterian day. So my whole entire personality is Jupiterian. All right. Psychologically, it represents growth, optimism, wisdom, and higher mind. Polarity is masculine, outward learning, and exploration. Wounded Jupiter represents excess, escapism, overconfidence, and blind faith. Cycles, Jupiter return happens every 12 years. It is your luck cycle. Age influence, Jupiter becomes the mentor archetype in the Aquarian age. Jupiter expands whatever you believe. Neptune represents dreams, intuition, illusions, and spirituality. Psychologically, it represents mysticism, imagination, transcendence, and unconscious realms. Polarity is feminine, dissolving, merging, and softening. Wounded Neptune is delusion, addiction, and spiritual bypassing. Cycles, Neptune transits equals ego dissolution. Ego dissolution. Age influence, collective awakening, and confusion. Neptune is divine truth disguised as chaos. Uranus represents awakening, disruption, innovation, and liberation. Psychologically, Uranus is a higher octave of Mercury. It is the higher intelligence, rebellion, and pattern breaking. Polarity is masculine, electric. I am an Aquarian mind. I know all about Uranus. Very innovative. And just, yeah, I can be pretty fun to talk to. You never know what you're going to get. All right. So wounded Uranus is instability, detachment, and unpredictability. Cycles, Uranus opposition happens at 42 years old. And that is a huge spiritual awakening. Uranus, age influence, Uranus and Pluto is the tech revolution and consciousness revolution. Uranus breaks what your soul has outgrown. And Pluto, final planet, Pluto. Pluto represents power, transformation. I'm laughing because Stephen Burns, I think, hopefully I'm getting his name right, He was like, I don't know when this was. This is when I was first watching him on YouTube. He was like totally making fun of Pluto being demoted as a planet. I was laughing my ass off. I was like, thank you. Pluto is huge. Pluto is small, but huge. All right, so Pluto represents power, transformation, shadow, and rebirth. Psychologically, it represents depth, psychology, trauma, sexuality, and power dynamics. Polarity is the underworld masculine. Wounded Pluto is obsession, control, fear, and trauma loops. Cycles, Pluto square happens between the ages of 36 and 39, and then Pluto return every 248 years. It is a karmic purge. Age influence, we have Pluto in Aquarius right now. It is a global ego death. Pluto destroys the false self so the true self can emerge. So I've been insanely activated by this Pluto in Aquarius. I'm an Aquarian mind. My own Pluto is in Scorpio. The millennials are being very activated right now. It's like, yes, we've been activated. I've been activated for the last 20 years. I've been very silently studying the last 20 years. But here recently I've been very, very activated. So I love it. Pluto and Scorpio millennial generation. We're like the journalists that isn't afraid to speak truth and tell it like it is. So, all right. So I hope you enjoyed this introduction to my new planet series, dealing with the psyche, polarity, psychology, life initiation, the collective age. I will be talking about the Aquarian age, dealing with the planets, because individually, collectively, our planets are being up, like everything, the earth itself, like literally, not just metaphorically, everything is changing. Everything is changing. There's no going back. And we need to understand the age that we're in. We're in a transition period, and it can get pretty volatile. We're purging. We're purging the masculine and feminine. We're purging ourselves, the government, like everything that's been under a rock hiding can no longer hide anymore. So this is an extremely exciting time. I'm happy and also worried about the younger generations needing a voice that is not freaking deepfake AI. It's crazy. So here I am. I'm here for you. And anyways, I want to get on with the series. So feel free to check out my ebooks. I do have a 33% off sale going on for all of my books, as well as my apparel. So I have stickers, I have tote bags, computer cases, t-shirts, sweaters, zip ups. Yeah, and then I do have quite a few free ebooks. I just recently launched an ebook talking about, it's in the geopolitical series, talking about deepfakes and how to protect yourself from deep fakes, really, people stealing your voice, your image, acting like you. There's a lot of deep fake Joe Rogan videos out there. I am insanely triggered. I am extremely cautious and careful and selective with what I let into what I'm watching. Like, I literally haven't watched mainstream news in 20 years. I have been on this path for a very long time, and so I don't listen to ads. I listen to meditation. I don't watch mainstream. I've just been this way for so long that when I saw a deep fake Joe Rogan video, I was so triggered, and it literally took me a day and a half to understand why I was so triggered. I'm like, I don't normally act like this triggered. Like, I don't really get triggered. You know, it's like nothing really surprises me hardly. But that really triggered me. And so I literally am now making like 5, 6 more series because of that activation. And I'm like, oh, yeah, well, I'm not desensitized like most people. I am not normal. I haven't been normal. I haven't been mainstream in 2 decades. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that's why I'm triggered. And that's why everyone acts like this is okay. And it's not. So, yeah, that's where I'm coming from. So, anyways, like and subscribe. Check out my ebooks. Oh, yeah, I have a free 73-page ebook on deepfake AI explaining what it is, how it operates. They have content farms, they have humans releasing thousands and thousands of videos daily, what to look out for to tell that it's AI and what to do about it, what laws federally is going on. I am in the United States, so the only laws we have is the sexual, obvious nudity, and that's it. We do have all the government cares about is politics. So we have the sexual nudity law federally, and then a lot of the states have, don't make fake AI about politicians that are going to be elected soon. That's literally all we have right now. You can't protect yourself legally right now. So I'm like urging people to download that book for free. It is free. It's very organized. It starts from the beginning, foundational, what it is, what's going on, and then it breaks down all the laws, the drafts, the legislation drafts, what didn't pass, what they're working on, the websites. I have templates in there if you're having issues with it yourself, what to who to contact, what to say, all that stuff is in there for free. Check out the description box, it will be in there. So, anyways, protect yourself out there. Like and subscribe. I appreciate all of your support. Feel free to comment your thoughts and feelings. Feel free to email me if you have a question. I also recently, it's kind of like a coaching question. If you have any questions about any of the topics I talk about, you can go on my website and purchase a question, and I will respond within 24 hours to 48 hours. So I'm certainly offering that as well. And take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next video.